Hi, guys. Hi, Tanisha.
Hi, how are you?
I am awesome. Got my little music going over here.
What?
Yes. Can you hear my music?
I can hear it.
Listen, this is my stuff. I don't look. The only reason why I'm playing this song, because you know we all got it in us sometimes, but we all got enemies at some point in our lives. And we got the negative energy and the positive energy. So this is a clean version of the song, though, because you know I don't like all the curse words and stuff, so we gotta keep it clean. But you know we're gonna. This is my stuff, y'all. I got trying to. But my acting days are over. Hey. Got a lot of people trying to drain me of this energy. They're trying to take away from me.
Hey.
And pray for me.
I got people talking down, man, like I give them. I bought this one a purse. I bought this one a truck. I bought this one a house.
How about this one a mall? I keep buying, keep track of it all. Got the code for the Wi-Fi. Anyway, so the whole point of that song was it was about energy. Is actually the name of the song. It's Energy by Drake, and we're talking about negative energy, positive energy. You know, there's a big difference between the two, and you always know when you're around something or someone who's full of negative energy because you can feel it. You ever walk past a person that's like, ugh, that vibe is all the way off, right?
I do it all the time, honey.
Yes, yes. So this week's episode of, or should I say webisode, because it is online, is about tying you to regroup. Yes, while evaluating yourself. So with that, we're going to first talk about defining the word regroup. What does regroup mean? What does regroup mean to us? Regrouping is just another way of, I guess, picking up the pieces again, bringing yourself back together. What you think, Tanisha?
For me, I consider regrouping is basically to come together as one unit, to organize, to figure out where you see yourself at right as we speak, and in the future, it's basically reflection. That's what I get out of regrouping for myself.
Okay, it's like getting back to that person you need to be, which brings me to another point, which is the reevaluation part. Because when we're talking about reevaluating oneself, you know, the importance of that is major, it's severe. You know, reevaluating yourself is not just, you know, looking at the, I guess, the exterior of things. You need to look deep within. Like you have to really figure out what it is that you need to do. Like who are you really? Who are you really? And look at your circumstances and your situations. A lot of the times we look at the things that we go through as negatives and as you know, someone else's fault.
I mean, for myself, I look at it more so as the importance of where I'm going at in my life. And also, self-reflection for myself helped me to identify and prioritize and organize my daily duties. And whether it is I work a 9 to 5 job, whether it's I'm in school full time, whether I run a business, whether whatever it is, it helps me to stay tuned. It gives me self-awareness. It actually opens up the door for myself to discover my talents, my strength, and also look at my weakness and what I need to overcome. And I can relate a little bit about that with self-reflection. So you can tell me a little bit more.
Well, you mentioned to me earlier, and this was actually before we got on the webisode. Me and Tanisha, we do have little conversations back and forth about certain topics, and she mentioned something to me about females and women or something like that. Listen, I'm okay. Go ahead. You tell me about the females and the women.
Listen, I really didn't want to. I was not expecting people to do that, but women tend to understand where they are in their life. Women know where they want to go and where they head, and women know how to identify. Women like to empower other people and even themselves. Females tend to become jealous, have jealous tendencies, and be naive and be very vindictive and don't see outside the box.
But I would relate that to someone who is more of a, I would call it a girl. You know, this is a childish person, someone who hasn't quite matured or grew up yet. I wouldn't necessarily look at that as, you know, the female, because I mean, I consider myself to be a female. My gender is a female, but you kind of went a little bit deeper into it, and I'm like trying to figure out, okay, so how does that come together? Because I consider myself to be a woman and a female. So, and I'm not childish. I'm not these things that you're speaking that females are. So you're gonna have to break that down to me. Tap in more. Like I gotta. How did you come to the fact of female and then woman? Like that's.
I'm gonna give you a prime example. When I said I was getting off the grid for myself, I was looking out. It was more deeper. And a lot of other people was like, why is she getting off the grid? What did I do? It was more so of they was being selfish and not looking at the bigger picture of when I say I'm getting off the grid. And a woman, from another woman perspective, understands why a person say I'm gonna need her, why she's getting off the grid. Self-reflection. And that's the difference between a female and a woman. I don't know if I'm elaborating a little bit more to you about that. Do I need to go a little bit more, or does that make kind of sense? Are you okay with that answer?
I would want you to actually go a little bit more in there. I'm sorry, listen, because I mean I totally get it. You're basically saying that, I guess, being that you had to go off the grid, it's like, I guess, speaking in parables, code, or something like that. A woman would know that what you're saying means that I just have to get myself together. I need to regroup. I need to reevaluate what's going on in my life, or who I am, or whatever the situation may be. And a female would look at that as, okay, so she got a problem with me? Like, what you mean you got to go off the grid? Like, why are you neglecting me, or whatever the situation may be?
Exactly.
However, but see, that's the thing. I think that when you go off the grid, you got to make it clear as to what's going on and why you're doing what you're doing. Now, I'm saying, like, from a perspective of, if there was someone in your near close to you that didn't quite understand the whole going off the grid thing. I mean, maybe they did feel, especially after a lot of little stuff. So I mean, you gotta be a little clear. I mean, I don't think that really.
In life, and I want you to understand that in life you're not going to get a clear understanding. Nobody will never get a clear understanding why a person do what they do. So for me, I needed to do that for myself, and through that process of why I needed to do that myself was get off the grid, because like I said, I had to identify some stuff within myself. I had to identify my own weakness of short, mid, and long term goals. I had to address a lot of other things that was going on internally in order for me to fulfill God's purpose. So, and also, I had to look at my strengths and where all my support is going to come in, as far as like my mentorship, my life coach, what my goals and is I'm living my daily day duty, or is I'm living someone else's daily day duty. So I had to reflect. And that's why I don't owe nobody explanations, and nobody owes nobody explanations on why they do what they do.
That's true. That's true. And personally, I think that it is important to go off the grid sometimes and use that time to reflect. Me personally, I think it keeps you from losing your freaking mind. It keeps you from going insane. And so I totally understand and I totally agree with having to go off the grid for a little while because life can get extremely overwhelming. It can get extremely overwhelming and it's not a great feeling.
Not at all. And you have two types of people. You have those who set goals, and then you have people that don't set goals and not understanding why they keep failing. So, in the process of you doing self-reflection, you will be able to identify, are you living the goals that you have set?
I definitely agree.
And why you agree? Why do you feel like you agree with that? Like, why do you feel it's so important to set goals in the process of you doing self-reflection?
Well, the reality is you got to, first of all, when you're self-reflecting, there's a purpose behind why you're doing what you're doing. It's not really called self-reflection if you don't do anything. Like, okay, I'm just going to go off the grid. No, seriously, the way I just did that, that's really how it happens. Some people literally say, okay, I'm going to go off the grid. I'm going to disconnect my Facebook. I'm going to disconnect my Instagram, my Twitter. I'm going to disconnect all of this social media. I'm going to turn my phone off. Nobody can call me. People do this, but they do absolutely nothing when they do it. What's your purpose? What are you trying to gain from this? What are you going to learn from pulling away from everybody? Because you have to have a reason for why you're doing what you're doing. If you can go into self-reflection mode and your main focus or your main goal is to figure out what it is that I need to be accomplishing or what it is I need to be doing.
Wow, that's deep. That's deep. When you said that, why you are self-reflecting and are you doing, and prior to you doing your self-reflecting, are you putting in work? And for me, I put in a lot of work for the last couple of days. It's to the point where I had to remove everybody out my space. You know, I had get out, pack your stuff, and go. I had to turn my phone. I'm talking about me. This is the stuff that I had to turn my phone off, put my phone on airplane mode while I meditate, while I read my word, while I listen to my spiritual music, while I listen to inspirational music, because my spirit was draining. This, you mean for myself? I'm thinking I'm going. I'm thinking I'm good, but I keep asking myself, why in the world I keep feeling tired all the time? Why I feel like, I'm sad and this day and the next day I'm happy. All along is the surroundings that surround me draining my energy within. So I had to really, like I said, look into myself. Like I had to say, oh, okay, what do I need to remove out my space? Who do I need to let go? Are they adding into my life or are they taking away from my life? And these are the things that I had to look at. Business wise, if I'm living the purpose that God has for me, is this my assignment that I need to be living on? Or is I'm doing this just because? School wise, education, get my education. Is it meant for me to go to school at this moment? I had to literally ask myself these questions. A 9-to-5 job. Why I'm working? Is I'm learning something prior to me having this 9-to-5 job? I had to literally write every single thing down that was pertaining to my life. And I had to write it out. And I had to ask myself, what is I'm learning out of this whole lesson? And I've learned so much throughout the whole process. As far as my job, as far as school, as far as personal life, as far as business wise, and as far as myself. I had to, while in the process of all that, I had to reset goals all over again. Short-term goals, mid-term goals, and long-term goals. I had to do that for myself. So I'm glad you spoke about when you are reflecting, what are you doing in the process of your reflection? Are you just sitting there moping and doing nothing? Or are you really putting in some work for yourself?
I mean, personally, I feel like if you're moping, you're not reflecting. And if you are, if you want to call that reflecting, I think you're looking at things on a scale of a negative versus the positive, or what can be, and how you can heal from whatever it is that you have going on. because some people really do take time away to go into this dead zone. Like I know people who literally go through stress phases where they will literally block themselves out from the world and seriously mope in their own spit.
And you absolutely right. Because I can admit I was one of those people. And I would used to mope and cry over spilled milk. I had no control over it. So, in some point in time in our life, when we are becoming successful and when we are walking into our purpose and seeing our vision, we have to be honest. We have to explain what the struggle is like. We're not perfect at all. And part of that is, I keep saying, once again, you have to self-reflect. You have to evaluate yourself. You have to remove yourself from a situation in order for you to see if you're heading in the right direction. You have to. In order for you to live this abundance life that you want to live. And part of that, you have to be committed. And it's not just that one thing. It's not that one day. It has to be at least it could be once a month. You do some type of self-reflection. Get off the grid. Lock out your Facebook. Lock out of your Twitter. Lock out of your Instagram. Cut your phone off. Even if you got to go to a hotel, that's what you got to go do. Even if you got to go take a vacation to get away from people, that's what you have to go do. In order for you to regroup. In order for your spirit to get replenished. And also, I've learned that through my self-reflection, I have to continue to hear God's message. Because I was always going every day because my life is so hectic. Once again, I go to school. I have a 9-to-5 job. I run this. I take care of my grandmother when need to be. And I'm missing some messages. God was probably trying to talk to me all along. But I was always on the go. Until I was like, man, forget this mess. I got that. Man, something got to give. And in the process, he has spoken to me. He has said some things to me that I needed to hear confirmation that I needed to hear. And I'm going to share a piece a little later on down the line when he spoke to me.
I want to know now. She's talking about later on down the line. I'm like, tell us now, tell us.
Later on down the line, I'm going to tell you, okay?
Why are you trying to wait till later?
Because, sometimes in life, you have to wait for something.
Really? Really? You're going to do this to us? Really?
What?
You ain't right.
I know. You let me get.
You ain't right.
But, just stay encouraged. Stay motivated. Stay persistent. Be patient. Stay positive. And I tell people this all the time. Don't look at everything as a negative perspective. Don't look at everything that goes on in your life negative. Because it's a lesson out of each trial and tribulation you go through.
So
it's a lesson out of everything.
So what happens? Like, what kind of message do you give a person who is finding it hard to stay positive? Like, everything around them, their world seems to be crumbling. It's like you got this going on over here, you got that going on over here, and then you got this up here. And then, like, what do you tell that person?
How bad do you want it? And are you, I'm talking about whoever it is, are you looking at the situation? Are you part of the problem or are you the solution? And this is what I tell people. Where you are in your life. Have you looked within yourself? Are you broken within? Have you worked on things that happen within? Because if you didn't, you want to keep attracting the same old mess. You want to keep dealing with broken people because this saying, hurt people hurt people. Misery loves company.
They also say you are what you attract.
So think about that. Are you really living in your truth? Or are you living in lies that you encouraged for so many years? That's the question. I don't
know. Hey.
I mean, that's just be real here, because sometimes we don't realize our own words. We don't understand the impact and the power and the force that we have within us, because we look past all that and we just accept any old thing. And the person that's broken and hurting, that means you need to not be with nobody. That means you need to do some self-work. A lot of self-work.
And self-work basically means to, like she said, reflect. Define yourself.
Meditate. Go exercise.
Start loving you.
Wow.
And spend less time worrying about someone else who can care less about you.
And that's what happens. And stop being in business with people that does not mean you no good.
Look at you.
Stop dealing with people that's not genuinely and that's not heading in the same direction. It may sound good at the beginning. Trust me, it sounds real good. But once you start getting involved, you're going to start seeing all the signs that God probably was trying to hold up. You ain't need to be in the first place, but nah, you want to continue to keep going.
I think we as people, we tend to ignore those red flags when they pop up. And it's not that we don't see them, because we see them, but we just don't pay them no attention. Comes a point in time. Huh?
I can relate. Can you?
On multiple levels, I can.
I more so can relate far as myself, because I see my own red flags. It's up to me to work on them, or do I keep ignoring them, or even with relationships.
When you say you see your own red flags, what do you mean? Like, are you saying like the things that you may do, or the things that others do? Or basically, instead of saying that they're your red flags, they're more like your flaws.
I mean, red flags, for self, meaning your weakness, your flaws, the things you have to work on for yourself.
Okay.
That's what I mean by red flags. I mean them real loud ones. Your attitude, like attitude problems, honey. I'm talking about them type of red flags. You know you got attitude problems. But you want to continue to keep having, you don't want to work on that thing. You want to work on everything else around. But that one little loud piece of evidence that you know, girl, you got to work on. But you choose not to work on. That's what I mean. But I'm just saying, in general, relationship-wise, the red flags is always there. Job-wise, the red flags is always there. If you don't want to work there, go find you another job. It's always there. All signs are always there. We choose to overlook it. We choose to walk this way and continue to keep walking towards it instead of just staying this way. That's what we do.
But I think before people can really move on with certain things in their lives, I think they have to show, they have to have a level of appreciation and gratitude for their current position. Because in order to progress to the next level, you have to have that appreciation, that gratitude. And I think that when you go into that phase of regrouping and reevaluating yourself, that off the grid status, I think that is the moment where you need to really start to appreciate where you are and show that gratitude for where you are in order to advance to the next level, in order to allow your mind to see beyond what you see on the surface. It's so funny because I was listening to one of Les Brown's speeches. And I gotta tell you, Tanisha got me all over Les Brown. You hear me? But I was listening to one of his speeches, and he made a statement talking about a woman who I guess she didn't like her job or something. Like she couldn't stand her job. And he told her to write down or something like that. I think it was write down one good thing or a few good things about her job. And she couldn't do it. She was like, there's nothing good that I can say about this job. Like, nothing. So eventually he asks her the question. He says, does your job pay you? She says, yes. He says, do you like getting paid? She says, yes. And that's her good thing. Like that right there alone is your motivation to continue to go to work and to continue to do what you do, because you may not like this job as the duty wise, but guess what? Doing those duties, you get something that you do like out of it, which is that moolah, right? Takes it to a whole nother level. So you got to show a sense of gratitude for where you are, your current position, before you can advance to the next level. And I thought that was a very powerful story. Of course, I didn't tell it word for word, clearly. But I'm definitely sure that you guys got the drift.
And I love Les Brown. He always say, how bad do you want it?
He says,
that's what he speaks about.
He has this thing where he says, it's possible. Like, just tell yourself it's possible. I think that's powerful. It's better than looking at a situation and saying, oh, I can't do something or I can't do this. You just say it's possible. Because you got a lot of naysayers, a lot of people that's going to come around and tell you what you can't do. But who else is going to believe that you can do besides you?
And you absolutely right. And, I know, man, you can relate to it because a lot of people look at it and it's like, wow. A lot of people downed it. When I say down me, like, oh, she gonna be back in prison again. She gonna be back on those streets again. This is a matter of time. Them are those that's betting and waiting, and you gonna have them every single day. But you gotta make a point in your life when you gonna say, I'm gonna make them out of a believer. You gotta wake up every morning and say, I got this. You gotta start talking to yourself. You gotta start speaking life, in you. They say you can speak life or death, and it's the power of the tongue. That's what they say.
And I wanna say something because I've actually had people come and say something to me about the fact that my partner has been to jail before. I want to say this: you don't ever judge a book by its cover. You never judge someone by their past. The things that they've been through, that's their story. That's what made them who they are. And I absolutely love her. You understand? I don't think nobody's past is squeaky clean. I don't believe it.
Wow.
I don't believe it. No one can ever come and tell me that they never did anything in their past that they're not ashamed of or unhappy of.
Everybody have a story.
That's true.
Everybody done did things in their life that they know they shouldn't have done. And I always say, who are you to judge? You can't judge me.
That's the first thing that comes out of my mouth. I think for me, that's like my biggest thing. Like, I can't judge anybody. I'm not God, first and foremost. I'm not God. So who am I to look at another person and think that I'm above them or whatever the situation may be? That's not my position. That's not my place to play.
But it's okay though, and we just gotta stay firm as men, women, and children have to stay firm and know that we can do all things through Christ that strengthens us.
Yes.
We just gotta continue to believe and have faith that we can move mountains. I'm not saying literally we can move the mountain, but I'm saying
we can try.
I'm just saying literally moving in a direction. Like I get, it bothers me. And this is something that I was so upset about in the process of me, removing people out of my space. People got so many potentials, right? Gifted, talent, but they sit and they sit and they marinated in it and not working and not doing something to make a career. And that bothers me. Because if you see me out here grinding every day and you moping and crying, oh my God, my 9-to-5 job, they kicked me off my job. I mean, I got, why? Why are you moping and crying for? You got the ability to go out here and go get a job. You got the ability to go out here and go back to school. You got talents and gifts. You could be your own boss, but now you want to continue to keep working for people. I don't like people that's like that. And I'm not gonna sit here and listen to other people that just crying and whamp over things that they have control over.
I actually wrote down a note that says, become the change that you want to see.
What? Hold on. What?
I said, become the change that you want to see.
Wow. Elaborate a little more on that. Become the change. You got me stuck on that.
Like you said, people cry and they whimp about things, but they're not doing anything to make a change. It's the same way about people crying and moaning and moping about the types of environments they live in and the types of people that they come around, but yet these are the things that they feed their energy into. Like, instead of being against it and standing up for a common purpose and a common cause, these people would rather fuel that fire. Like, we're going to give an example of the way that everything just went on the internet. Everything is gravitating towards technology, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, in a situation where there's a fight going on in the neighborhood, the first thing people do, pull out their cell phone. They pull out that cell phone and they start recording everything that's going on. Ooh, right?
I'm listening.
But ain't nobody trying to break up the fight. And everyone is basically encouraging this. And 9 times out of 10, you might see a few little kids running around it, watching it. What type of example are you setting for those children? How can you sit here and beg for a change when you're not becoming a part of that change? Look at the man in the mirror. Michael Jackson said that.
I like that. And you know it's so funny when you said that everybody is so quick to pull out phones and to take record, but everybody is not quick to make a difference in their own lives. Everybody is not quick to fulfill their purpose. They quick to do everything else. They put the work in everything else, but they rather not put the work in themselves.
Man, I just feel like, man, it's a lot of brainwash. And, you know, you've been taught to be a certain way for so long. And no one ever took the time to break the chain. So it's a chain reaction of events. Everything is just repeating itself now.
It's a generation. I say break the generation curse. So how can we break the generation curse? How can, we make a difference? Which I know we're doing it now.
Transforming, inspiring, empowering people to make a change. I mean, it's the only way to go. Like, the only thing I can do is encourage change. I can share with other people the trials and the tribulations that I've been through, and pray to God that they don't make the same mistakes that I did.
That's deep. That's really, really deep. And I like how you said, all we can do is, transform, inspire, and empower men and women and children. So when we come in contact, if we come into contact with people that we can't transform and we can't inspire, because everybody don't want the change. So what can we do to be able to impact them? Like, what do you say to people like that don't really want the change?
You're going to always come across those people that are just stuck in their ways. That's like trying to teach an old dog new tricks. They don't really want to learn. You know, they really don't. They don't want to learn because you're accustomed to doing things the way you've been doing them for so long. So 9 times out of 10, it's going to be almost impossible, which that is not in our vocabulary. So I would always continue to do what we're doing. We don't stop just because one person or two people feel that they don't agree with what we're doing. We keep going. And eventually they will follow suit. Because at some point it's like one of those situations like, let's say it's a group of friends. Let's say it's 6 of them. 5 friends want to do something the right way. They want to be positive. But you got this one friend that wants to be negative over here. But this one friend is trying to peer pressure all of these other friends to do this negative thing. But these 5 friends are just not budging. But guess what? That one friend don't want to be alone. So 9 times out of 10, that one friend is going to end up gravitating over to where the 5 friends are and be like, you know, it might be stubborn in their ways and going over there, but they going to go because they don't want to be by themselves. We're in a society where people follow the leader. And that's really what it is. I hate to say it like that, but people follow the leader. People are so trendy to a point where when it becomes a trend, everybody's willing to do it. But if it's not a trend, nobody's paying no attention. Which is why it's hard for people to support people. But see, there are a certain type of people that will support people no matter what. But then you got another type of people that act like unity is going to be the death of them. And that is absolutely not true.
Wow. And that really follows with identity theft. When you I just want to piggyback off when you were saying follow suit in that trend. I call it identity theft. I call it want to be like someone else. I call it peer pressure. I call it people pleasing. These are the words that I see. You know, these are the words that I see a lot of people doing, and the support is crazy. It's not a lot of people that will support a great cause or support a positive person that's doing something to inspire other people, that's giving back. They rather support the naysayers. They rather support the ones that's not doing what they're supposed to do. And I'm laughing because it's sad and it's sick. This is how the society has designed it to be. All for itself.
They rather support the ones that's not doing what they're supposed to be doing or what they should be doing because that person is not looking better than them.
Whoa!
You're killing me.
Wait a minute. Really?
It's the truth.
I'm going to sleep. Really?
It's the truth.
You did that one. It's very true. It's so true. But hold on. You ain't think about this either. They'd rather invest in prison. They'd rather invest in metro. They'd rather invest in buildings that cost an arm and a leg. But they refuse to invest in a nonprofit organization that's trying to make a change in the society that they're creating. On top of that, but we on top of what I just said, we just have to stay encouraged as men, women, and children to continue to keep moving in spite of the differences, in spite of the naysayers, in spite of even people don't want to do or help us. We still have to move. We still have to stay encouraged. We still have to be motivated. We still have to have faith and believe that no matter what door closed, it's always that first door closed, it's always another door that's open behind that.
And you also got to understand that not everybody is going to see your vision and your plan the same way that you do.
Ooh.
Oh, you be killing me.
You just took my energy with that one. I'm like, what? A lot of people are not gonna see. Say that again. I need to hear that. Let me hear that again. Say that again.
A lot of people is not gonna see your vision and what it is that you're trying to do the same way that you're gonna see it.
But why they not gonna see your vision? Are you
because God didn't give it to them. God gave it to you.
Ooh. So what do we do with this vision? Even if he gave it to us, we still gotta have oneness. We still have to, that just blew my mind. I'm sorry. That just blew my mind because I can relate. I really can. I know you can relate, and I know other people can relate. Your vision is your vision. God has given it to you. It's for you to see the vision, and also it's for you to have a team that's gonna make your vision come true. So even though he give us visions, it's not meant for us to hold on to capture it. It's meant for us to share the vision to someone else that's genuine enough to make it happen.
I think those people who have those visions and have those dreams and they decide to sit on it, as you would call it, marinate, I think that's a sign of selfishness. And I think that is not realizing that their mission and their purpose is bigger than themselves. I think when people come to the realization that it's not just about them, then we're on the same page. Then it takes it to a whole other level.
But also you gotta realize, are you selfish yourself? You gotta ask these questions. I'm saying people in general. You can have the vision and you can go after your purpose, but you gotta ask yourself, are you selfish within? What's your purpose behind this? What's your
intention?
Yeah, your intention. That's what I'm looking for. See? What are your intentions? Are you so focused on the money, or are you really so focused on the cause? So these are the questions that we all have to ask ourselves consistently. A lot of people don't. A lot of people really, really just want the money and not genuine enough to want to really help people. And that's how things get misconstrued. That's how business fails so quickly. Because they focus on the money and more so of the vision and more so of the purpose and more so why God has given that to you in the first place. These are the things that we gotta ask ourselves, and we have to evaluate. That's why I say it's okay to regroup. We gotta ask ourselves: are we heading in the right direction, or are we too big headed?
Do that again. Big headed.
Big headed. Are we too big headed? And I don't think we the stuff, and we really not. Because the quicker we got it, the quicker it can go.
Snatch it right on up.
So these is very important to ask, to know, to understand, and to see clearly. So we have to stay meditated. We have to meditate so we can hear him speak, so he can clear our thoughts, so he can open up our eyes, and so we can speak when need to speak, because everything is not meant to speak on.
Ooh, Tanisha's on the road today. What's going on? You on the ball. I see you, girl.
I mean, I'm just saying, because we so quick to speak, but slow to listen. We don't listen. We do a lot of speaking, more so listening. So that's why I got off the grid, because I needed to listen to him, and I needed to make sure that I was listening clearly. So when I speak, I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And I know what I'm doing. So I want to encourage everybody to do the same thing.
Yes. Listen.
I'm listening.
It is about that time. Poetry time. Today I cried an uncontrollable cry. A cry that was non-consolable. I cried a cry that brought chills down my spine while remembering the times I felt confined in a dark space in life that replaced the sight I always dreamed I could have. As the tears rolled down my face, I was able to mentally displace myself without a trace, leaving no evidence of existence once the old me came up missing. You see, I could no longer console what couldn't be controlled. I was always told to let go, but I didn't know I'd end up lying here with a face filled with tears. Molestation, I've been there. Grown men touching me everywhere. Rape, the worst pain I could ever feel with daunting memories I couldn't escape. Physical abuse, the bruises of a woman once gone, pushed, choked, hands around my neck, freedom revoked, panting around like what's next. I had great reason to cry. But these tears were different. These tears were partnered with a smile that did the slip and slide from one ear to the other, a smile that made every dark cloud turn until I didn't need an umbrella, a smile that showed I no longer needed anyone's permission or validation to be happy, no more feeling crappy. I'm smiling because the pain I once felt flew past me. My blessings are showing up left and right. Just looking outside is giving me a new light in my life to distinguish the wrong from right. These tears, they are not hurt. They are not sorrow or represent me suffering from the pain. These tears represent my deliverance from the person I used to be who didn't have a dream. I believed life was just what it seemed until I was introduced to this new thing. It was this thing called life. I learned I now had a choice in the matter of how I chose to live. I can choose the things I believe to be real. I have the agility mixed with the ability to consume all possibilities, to produce the opportunity to seize every moment as I own it. These tears meant every closed door was finally flying open because of my choice. These tears represented the confidence I now exhibit due to the decision to no longer be living towards myself. I'm finally living. These tears were the magnification of a perfect demonstration that held no relation to my past, but focused on my future. These tears represent my emancipation as I stand on top of the world and declare my salvation. Like the great Martin Luther King Jr. said, free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, I am free at last.
So powerful, so powerful.
Well, you know.
That really touched me.
You said that so dryly.
Because it really did. Like, poetry, it has a lot of meaning to it. Our life is considered poetry. Our life is so renewing, so refreshing.
Oh, you're so silly. I can't with you.
So,
Anyway,
I want to say thank everyone for watching us. It has been an amazing hour on the hour. I don't know how long, but I'm thinking it's an hour because I'm not paying attention to the clock.
Right.
So
could have been a little bit longer.
Everyone. My name is Tanisha, and don't forget to go on our website, www.T.I.E Network.com. Don't forget to follow us on all social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Periscope. Sorry, I took a long break. I didn't really think about that, you guys.
And guys, I am author. Yeah, I am author Shanell Williams-Cureton here, and I'm super excited about all of the new people who have joined us here on our T.I.E Elite Webisodes. After this webisode, we're going to be doing live Q&As.
Did she just do that?
Yes, we're gonna do live Q&As. So we will be on. Should we do it on Periscope?
No,
or should we just do it in a group?
Yeah.
We'll let them ask us the questions in the group. We'll do like a video for the group, and we will answer the questions via our Facebook group for T.I.E Elite Network. If you have not become a member of the group, you can just go to Facebook, type in T.I.E Elite Network, and we should pop up. But until next time, you guys, we pray that you guys have a super fantastic day, and we're signing out. Peace.